The moment the music erupted in the hall, as if the air itself shattered from the bass, Louisa felt her heart might burst from her chest. The crowd pulsed around her, bodies swaying in chaotic rhythm, while she stood at the edge of the dance floor, clutching an empty glass like a shield against loneliness. "Why am I here?" she thought, glancing at her friends, already lost in the whirl of lights and laughter. But then her gaze caught her, a woman with dark hair cascading over her shoulders, in a dress that hugged her like a second skin. She danced alone, yet with such freedom, as if the whole world was her partner. Louisa froze, unable to look away. Veronica felt the stare like an electric jolt. She turned, and their eyes locked through the haze of strobing lights. A smile curved her lips, not bold, but warm, inviting. She stepped closer, extending a hand. "Dance with me?" she shouted over the bass, and Louisa, without thinking, nodded. Their hands touched, sparking like dry grass catching fire. They spun into the rhythm, bodies moving in sync, as if they'd rehearsed for years. Louisa felt the warmth of her skin, the scent of her perfume, vanilla laced with something sharp, like an ocean breeze. "I'm Veronica," she said, leaning close to be heard. "Louisa," she replied, and the world shrank to just them. They danced for hours, oblivious to time melting away. Conversation flowed effortlessly. Favorite songs, Veronica's job at a small art gallery where she painted portraits at night, Louisa teaching kids at school while dreaming of her own book. Beneath the ease, though, lay shadows. Veronica mentioned a recent breakup. Her ex left scars of doubt. "I thought I'd never trust again," she admitted, vulnerability flickering in her eyes, drawing her closer. Louisa nodded, feeling her own fears echo. Raised in a family where love was quiet and predictable, her own emotions always felt too wild, too wrong for the small town she'd fled. "I'm here to forget," she confessed as they stepped onto the balcony for a smoke. The night air was cool, the city below twinkling like distant stars. Veronica stood close, their shoulders brushing. "I'm here to find something real," she said, her voice so raw it caught Louisa's breath. The next day, fate, or chance, intervened. Louisa wandered into a cafe near Veronica's gallery. There she was, hunched over a sketch. "You?" Veronica gasped, her eyes lighting up. They talked through lunch, laughing over childhood stories. Veronica shared how she'd run away as a teen to see the ocean. Louisa admitted to a schoolgirl crush that ended in tears and silence. "I was scared of myself," Louisa whispered. Veronica took her hand. "Don't be now." But drama struck like lightning. After a week of meetings, park walks feeding ducks, movie nights with intertwined fingers, Louisa got a text from an old friend. "Veronica?
She's not who you think."
She's got someone else." Louisa's heart sank. She didn't believe it, but doubt gnawed at her. At their next date, in a riverside restaurant, she couldn't hold back.
"Who is she?"
"The one you're with," she asked, voice trembling. Veronica paled. "My ex's sister. She called about picking up stuff. That's all." But guilt flashed in her eyes. Not for cheating, but for not sharing sooner. "I'm scared of losing you, Louisa. After that breakup, I became paranoid. I thought you'd leave if I told you." Tears welled in Louisa's eyes. "What if I heard it from someone else? Do you think I'm that weak?" Words flew like arrows, cutting deep. Louisa stood and left, leaving Veronica alone at the table. The night was sleepless. Louisa paced her apartment, replaying memories. That first dance, the warmth of her hands, their shared laughter. "I love her," she realized, the truth hitting like a wave.
"At dawn," she called.
"We need to talk." They met in the park where their story began after the dance. Rain drizzled, the air fresh and heavy. Veronica arrived with a bouquet of wildflowers, simple like their feelings. "I'm sorry," she said, voice hoarse with tears. "I didn't mean to hide anything. You're the first person who's made me feel alive again." Louisa stood silent, watching her. Rain streaked their faces, mingling with tears. "I'm scared too," she whispered. "But I'm more scared without you." They stepped toward each other, and the world stilled. Veronica gently touched Louisa's cheek, brushing away a raindrop. Their lips met, soft, tender, like the first breath after a storm. The kiss held promises, the taste of salt from tears, warmth spreading through their veins, and the spark from that dance floor. It lingered, eternal, and when they parted, Veronica's eyes shone. "This is the beginning," she said. Their love bloomed like a garden after rain. They moved into a small apartment overlooking the city, where Veronica painted Louisa's portraits and Louisa wrote stories inspired by their life. Challenges came. Louisa's family hesitated, Veronica's friends doubted, but they held hands through it all, anchored by that first dance. The drama forged them stronger, that rainy kiss their talisman. Love, they learned, wasn't a flawless fairy tale but a reality where two hearts beat as one, weathering storms together. Months later, they sat on their balcony, watching the city glow. Veronica sketched Louisa's profile, her pencil tracing the curve of her jaw. "What are you drawing?" Louisa teased, leaning closer. "Us," Veronica murmured, her voice soft with certainty. "Always us." Louisa smiled, resting her head on Veronica's shoulder. The world felt infinite, their love a quiet rebellion against doubt and fear. They weren't perfect, but they were real. Two souls who found each other in a crowded dance, forever bound by a kiss that tasted of rain and redemption.